Hey guys, welcome back to the shed and welcome to part 70 of the Emergency Storage Shed Cleanout series. This episode we're going to do a bit of a follow-up on the CRT computer monitors we showed in the last episode, and I've got a bit more testing to do. I've just put one on eBay. I'll show you what we're up to there, but given that it's a new episode for this week and we have to get something out of that shed, it won't be just about the monitors. We'll grab a box of something out of the shed and process it. Hopefully it's interesting. Now, first of all, I have just listed this Sony Trinitron Multiscan E200 monitor on eBay. I was talking values with you in the last episode, and we found, I was thinking around about $300. I think I even mentioned I might throw it on eBay at $400 and see what happens. Well, I've changed my views a little bit, and part of that was my fault. Now, I've made a bit of a stuff up, and I'm happy to share that with you because maybe it'll prevent you guys doing the same thing. There were some stickers on this side, some gooey remnants of stickers, which I took off, and that was fine. And I used some metho to try and dissolve the glue. Now, it actually worked on one and not the other. So on a rag, I put some IPA, and yes, that worked on that glue as well. And then, mistakenly, there was a little bit of muck on the screen, and I just wiped the IPA across it, and it took off the original anti-glare finish. Now, I didn't realize that they do this, and not all monitors do, but there was an anti-glare finish on the screen, and the moment you take a bit of it off, it didn't take much, but enough to be noticeable, then there was a clear patch that looked, well, more clear, in fact brighter than the rest of it. So that led me down the rabbit hole of having to clean the rest of the anti-glare off, and I did look up some forums, and a lot of people actually do take it off. So that's fine, and see, it's probably a little bit more reflective now. You can see part of my shed and my arm, but that's fine. So that was all right. I was overcoming that problem, and the IPA did seem to take it off, but there was parts that were really stubborn, and unfortunately, without thinking, I had read in some forums that some guys had used a scourer to help take it off with the IPA. Other people tried toothpaste and all sorts of things. But without thinking, I grabbed a piece of Scotch-Brite and thought, oh, this should help and it shouldn't hurt the glass. Well, it did. It scuffed up some sections, and I don't know if you can see it. It's very hard to see. I've actually made it a lot better than what it was, and I polished it as best I could. And I actually used a silver polish, and it didn't do a bad job. But there is still some circular scratching in the middle and a little bit up the top there. I was really annoyed with myself that I did that, but you can barely see it, and when the screen's on you can't see it at all. But having to list something on eBay, I have to describe it accurately. I don't want to get a bad reputation, so I have mentioned that the screen is a little scuffed. Yeah, I can see it there. I'm not sure if it's showing up through the camera. Anyway, that was my fault, and so I listed it on eBay just at $200. And I explained I said that improper products have been used. I didn't actually say I did it, but it doesn't matter. The rest of it's okay. It's a little yellow on the case, but it seems to work all right otherwise. Now, the other two monitors we need to recheck. And probably more importantly is the other Sony Trinitron. This is the Multiscan 17SF2. This one didn't fire up, or we got a green light and a bit of a noise, and then it just turned off all the time. I thought it may have had some sort of protection circuit shutting it down because there was a fault, but with many thanks to Steve's Electronic Repair Shop, who comments regularly on my electronics videos, he said a lot of these need to be synced to a computer, and I guess it's a bit like a trigger wire on a power supply. They won't actually turn on unless they sense that they're required to. So let's fire this one up now. I've got it plugged into the old computer. There we have the green light and the noise, and then nothing much happens. Then there's a click at the back, a yellow light comes on here, and I thought it was turning off and it had a fault. But if we turn the computer on now and watch the screen, it actually has some life. Now, it takes a little while to come up on the screen, but it does work. There we go, IBM. There's the computer runs through its boot processes, so it appears to work perfectly fine, which is awesome news. I'm going to clean this one up a little bit, and I've got some terrible strobing there, and clean this up, So the good old computer's doing its job nicely. I'll clean this monitor up a bit. I am going to be very, very careful with the screen. In fact, I'm just going to use some Windex glass cleaner and that's all. And we'll put this one on eBay as well. And I think I'll just start it at 200 as well as an auction. And if that's all it gets, that's all it gets. I'm happy with that. But this one is a bit rough and it's got some marks on the case that may not come off. But I'm pleased to see that it actually works. That's fantastic. And that brings us to the HP, the smaller screen, I think a slightly older monitor from memory. Now, I thought this one definitely had a fault because all the lights lit up, but we'll turn it on and see. I haven't pre-tested this one, so I don't know if this one works or if it does have a fault. The green light's on the monitor there. Let's power the computer up. And it's just, I'm amazed that this worked. Well, I'm not amazed that it's worked, but I'm amazed that, here we go, look at this. So all monitors are in good working order. And what it has saved me is, well, we pulled the back off this one in the last video and had a look, but it has saved me pulling it apart, pulling the circuit board out, trying to find bad solder joints, trying to fix it, getting frustrated because I can't find anything wrong, putting it back together, still not working, probably selling it as, either scrapping it out or selling it as not working, all because I didn't know that they actually needed to be plugged into a computer. And yet the more modern monitors don't. They, you know, you can have a signal and it might just say no signal available or something. But this one appears to be working perfectly fine. We're getting strobing again. Let's pan away. So there we go. I'm probably not going to put this one on eBay. Maybe I could. It's in pretty good cosmetic condition, this one. Again, I'll clean it up and I'm not going to touch the screen with any IPA. Seeing so I'm listing monitors, maybe I should put them all on. Someone might buy all of them. We'll probably just start this one at $50 though, given that it's not as popular as a Sony and it is a small screen. So yep, all three monitors now going on eBay. And not only do I need to thank Steve from Steve's Electronic Repair Shop for the assistance there and saving me probably wasting some good monitors. And I'll put a link to Steve's channel underneath. But also John Simpson, I think it was, pointed out that I remember I had a fail on my appliance tester with this last HP monitor. Well, I mistakenly called it a class 2 item. It's actually a class 1 item, so it did actually pass that. So yeah, I thought I had problems. I didn't, just because of lack of knowledge. So we've learned something from this video. I certainly have. I hope you guys have. Don't touch the screen with IPA and be very careful because they do use different types of anti-glare finish on them. And the other one was the older monitors do need to be powered up to a computer before they will actually work. Now, I'm not sure how you get on then if you want to use one for retro gaming. I'm sure the guys that use these will know how to mod it. So anyway, I can sell all these as working. Before this video finishes, let's go and get something else out of that shed. Now that we've got 3 monitors out of here, it's really starting to open up. So that's pretty exciting. A couple of TVs there. That vintage computer will probably scrap. It's not old enough to be of much value. And there's those other vintage computers down there. We'll get to them shortly. But we're opening up a lot of shelf space. So let's just finishing off this video with a couple of boxes in the middle here. There's just a tub of hardware and bolts. Well, that'll be easy. We'll just nominate a price for that as it is, I think. Not sure what's in that one. Let's get those through to the bench and have a look, and at least we'll get a bit of stuff off that shelf, and that'll tidy up this video. Okay, this first one, basic hardware. I'm probably not even going to sort that out. I think we'll just sell it as it is, nice and quick. And this small but heavy box looks to be pulleys. Cast aluminium pulleys, double V cast aluminium. We have some cast iron pulleys. So I'm going to just price these out. It's the sort of items that if you're an engineer or a farmer, you would keep them and you'd possibly use one every so often. I don't think I'll ever use one of these pulleys. I'm just going to price them and put them in the shop. And if I need one, well, that's where I'll find it, unless it's sold, in which case I've got the money to buy the right size I want. Okay, let's have a closer look. Well, we have lots of bolts, mostly coach bolts, which are the ones with the round head and the square under the neck. Some of them look near new. Lots of older ones that are still fine. A few larger nuts, some of them galvanized, some not. So I think I'm just going to definitely put those in the shop. probably just put $10 on the lot, and some farmer or home hobbyist will probably jump at that. I don't need to keep stacks of bolts here like this. I'm not doing any construction work at the moment. And like I said with the pulleys, if I need to go and buy some bolts, well, I'll just buy the ones I need at this stage. So $10 for that tray. That'd be great to get that out of here straight away. As for the pulleys, well, if you've ever gone to buy a pulley, and I have done in previous times of my life, they're actually pretty expensive to buy. And I think you even need to pay for the machining costs if you needed a certain size or the keyway in it. I have a feeling they're off the shelf. They've just got a standard, I don't know, 1/2 inch hole or something, and they get bored out to suit whatever you want. There might be stock sizes with keyed shaft holes. I'm not sure. I'm going to put $10 each on these. Certainly the ones that aren't damaged. That one maybe $5. That's a really nice double V cast iron pulley with the grub screw. A section belt, I think it's a narrower belt than the B section. That'll definitely be a $10 pulley. And I'm sure you would pay $30 or $40 for one of these new. That one's not a bad one. If I see any that are broken, they'll go in their respective scrap bins, cast aluminium or heavy melt steel. Of course, if we put one of these in the cast aluminium bin, we have to make sure the grub screw's out of it so it's clean aluminium. But these all look undamaged, they're just a little bit weathered. So let's say 10, 20, 25. The double ones, I think I'll go 10 each. So that's 30, 40, 45. Oh, you know what? I think we'll put them all in a box at $10 a pick and let people decide. Because it's funny how I do that. And sometimes the one I thought was least valuable just happens to be the right size and someone buys it. So $10 each for all these pulleys. There's some good ones in here, actually. And yeah, look, I may use a small one like that on an electric motor for a project, but as I said before, if I need one, it'll either be in the shop or I'll have the money to go and buy one. I don't think I'd go off and buy a new one. I could usually find one somewhere. And because I constantly, oh, that one doesn't have a keyway, because I'm constantly cleaning out sheds, I seem to pretty well turn up whatever I need whenever I need it, which is kind of nice. That's all that's in that box. So excellent. I'll tally all these up, and I'll get you a total of the pulleys in this for this episode, and we'll check back in on the CRT monitors once the eBay auctions finish. So let's finish this video up with a little bit of look at a notepad, and as we explained, prices on these, I've written down $10 each on these pulleys, even though that one's not keyed and it's just a fairly light one. We might only have to go 5 on that, but there's actually 11 there, so I've just worked on 10, giving us a total of $110. Added to our grand total is 10,884 I've got on my list, plus, and I will advise on how the monitors go, and I might even film the end of the auctions for next episode. I went 200 and 200 on the Sony Trinitrons, and I decided to try 100 on the HP, and they all work quite well, as you saw. And I'm thinking, you know, listing them all at once, I may have a collector from Melbourne come up and get the 3 of them, or even try and resell them and make a bit of extra profit, because we've certainly seen them go for more than that. But I'm happy to turn stuff over, to liquidate things, and to free up some space. So thanks for watching, guys, and it's really good when things work, because then I just have to clean them, put them in the shop or put them on eBay, and it creates space very quickly. So hopefully the TVs we've got to come will work. We'll get into those vintage computers and we'll just have to assess them as we go. There are some more monitors in the shed, so at least we have a process now, and I do understand a little bit more about testing monitors, so that's good. Forging ahead, going great guns. Catch you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.